Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. It's August 11th, 2025. Great to be with you today. Big shout out to my niece, Kayla. Happy birthday to you, number 24. It was a great weekend. Hopefully, you guys all had a good weekend and we're ready to rock and roll today for some good trading today and all the rest of the week. Thank you for spending a little bit of time with me this morning. Let's talk about markets here. So, NASDAQ hit the magic number on Friday. New all-time high on Nasdaq, just under 24,000 on the NQ. Nasdaq 100 QQQs are at all-time highs 574.50 or something like that. Maybe up a little bit this morning as well. So we see futures are actually up a little bit, about 5-6 points off the highs of the early morning session. Nasdaq up about 10. Dow Industrials up about 75, 79 points as well. So we'll see if we can get some follow through today. I'm not sure if we're going to have a straight up market this week. We do have quite a bit of news out this week. We have some big earnings reports. We have Cisco later on this week, which is the Dow component. A couple other big names as well too. We also have the CPI for July coming out on Tuesday morning. That's tomorrow before the open, and then the PPI will be coming out 2 days later on Thursday morning, and then we'll have retail sales on Friday. So quite a bit of action, of activity that could sway markets. And don't forget, Friday is I'm going to call it a mini big options expiration. It's not a triple witching; it's a double witching on Friday, the 15th of August. So that'll be certainly be a market mover later on in the week as well too. So I want to share with you a couple of charts, some things that we're looking at. Of course, last week was a pretty good week for us at Palantir. We had earnings that came out early in the week, and that really smashed it out of the park. We also had some good earnings coming out from Shopify, from AppLovin, which went down initially after earnings came out on Monday night, but rallied nicely and closed up near $500 a share. We also have Robinhood, which is strong. We have a lot of that in the service and also in the chat room. We've been playing that one. Some other names as well too. So if you're not in the chat room, you're really missing out. I think that there's an opportunity for you to make some good money, to learn a lot about trading options. So come to the options trading chat room, EO chat. You can find it at the find a place to get in on the website, explosiveoptions.net. So let's take a look at a couple of charts here as well. I want to share with you the NAMOT. What is the NAMOT? The NAMOT is the NASDAQ McClellan Oscillator Traditional. Excuse me. This is one that I look at regularly. There's a ratio adjusted one some people like to look at, but I like to look at this one. And we can see that the NASDAQ McClellan Oscillator, for the most part, since the late part of July, has been in negative territory, right? And which means that most stocks have been falling or have been coming down over the past 3.5 weeks versus going up. But the Nasdaq's hitting new all-time highs. So what do we call that? We call that a divergence, right? When stocks are diverging in one direction, but the price action is moving in the other direction, that is called a divergence. It's like this, right? Divergence, one going this way, one going that way. And eventually that resolves itself. And I think that that'll resolve itself poorly. And what does that mean? That means basically, I think the breadth that we see here in the NASDAQ oscillator is eventually going to win out, because the weight of evidence is going to be on the bulls to keep things moving. And as we keep moving higher without much support from the stocks that are in the lower end of the NASDAQ, we're not talking about the Mag 7. Those stocks are doing quite well and actually just doing the work to carry the NASDAQ up right now. But as long as the weight of the rest of the market is continuing to act like an anchor and pulling the rest of the market down, it's eventually going to win out. You cannot have the markets continually going higher and higher with poor breath, and eventually that is going to come to a head. And we're going to resolve it to the downside. That usually happens. And it's not going to does happen every single time. Of course, nothing is guaranteed to happen every single time, but for the most part, that is the pattern that we've noticed in the past. So keep an eye on that. This is a month of August, which is often a month of erratic price action and poor volume. It is certainly setting up that way the first week and a half of trading. Last week, of course, was the first full week of trading in August, and this week is the second full week. No holidays in August, unfortunately. It seems like the only month of the year that there's no holidays, right? But we do have a not a Fed meeting, but a Fed conference. The Kansas City Fed hosts the Jackson Hole Conference later on this month, I believe in about 2 weeks. And Chair Powell will probably be the keynote speaker at that one. We'll have some speakers from some other places. I think the premier from financial premier from Japan will be there, also from the EU as well too. So there'll be some interesting speakers. But for the most part, most people are pointing towards Chair Powell. And will he signal that the committee will start looking at cutting interest rates at their next meeting in September? I think there's several Fed speakers that have been out recently that have been moved from hawkish to dovish and moving towards the market needing the economy and slowing down a little bit, and that the market needs these rate cuts. We're going to have several Fed speakers later on today and tomorrow and Wednesday talking about the same issue as well too. So we may see a few more people lining up. Don't forget the last meeting that we had in July. There were two dissents. There were two Fed governors who wanted a rate cut in July. So that's going to carry a lot of weight into the next meeting as well too. So I think that currently, let's take a look at the Fed funds futures right now. I believe it's about 89% chance. It's an 87% probability of a rate cut in the September meeting, 13% chance of staying where we are. That could certainly change after the CPI number comes out tomorrow. If it comes out a little bit weaker than expected, if it's a lot lighter, then this number is going to go up. October meeting is also seeing perhaps a 55% chance of a rate cut again, a second rate cut in October after September to bring the funds rate down to 375. And in December, take a look at that. There's about a 44% chance of a third rate cut. So the Fed funds futures market is being very aggressive right now, trying to price in more rate cuts than the Fed had committed to back in June. Now, of course, don't forget the next meeting in September, we will get a projections list of the Fed's looking at inflation, unemployment, growth, and the Fed funds rate projection for the rest of the year and for a little bit in 2026, 2027. So I think I'm kind of back in the camp of two cuts for 2025. And of course, if they get a little bit more aggressive here, if the jobs report in which is going to be out in September, right on Labor Day for August, is weaker again, we're going to see some aggressive moves towards more rate cuts. So got to wait and see what the data says. They're always data dependent. They've been telling us that for months and months. So we have to pay attention to what the data is telling us right now. So see what else. Not a whole heck of a lot here. You know, it's been kind of quiet here over the weekend, which is nice. Not a lot of news regarding the wars overseas or trade. We're going to possibly get some news on trade later on this week. And we did see that the tariffs did kick in last week. The markets didn't really flinch too much, which was nice to see. The only thing that kind of worries me right now, volatility. The VIX is down 15% right now, 15.8% on the VIX. It's up a little bit this morning. We do see that the VIX futures are up about 16.7. So there is a little bit of a differential between the VIX and the VIX futures, VIX cash and the futures. That'll eventually get narrowed and later on this month when the August VIX futures expire. So be aware of that. And again, I did tell you that the options expiration is going to be on Friday, and we'll see a lot of movement later on this week on that too. So, keep it steady today and tomorrow. Don't do a whole heck of a lot. Don't be too aggressive. Keep a lot of cash as always. Have some puts on. Also, play it light. Don't make huge commitments right now. This is not a time where you're going to hit the one. Want to try and hit one out of the park here. We're keeping things light right now as well too. Just picking and choosing and taking our opportunities when we can find them. This is a stock picker's market, so take advantage of the stock picking tools that you have. Using technical analysis, charts, and so forth are going to be your best opportunity to finding some of these names. So have a great day, everyone. We went old school this morning with the Big Country back in the song from back in the 80s, and put it back on. Have a great day. Have a great trading day, and I will see you guys back on Thursday morning. Take care. To go out in the desert, but I can live and breathe and see